is Dan. Welcome to another reaction video on Black Plasma Studios Survival, but this time it's bloopers, and I'll do the other thing. So let's get started. Be sure to watch it first. Yeah. I changed the video a bit. No, stop! Oh. Not good.
This video is sponsored by...
Okay, welcome back. That was it. What? Oh. Oh. What happened? I thought for sure it would be Steve, I'm sorry. That's from the B animation. What is this? Alex? Alex betrayed us. Him again. I've watched all of these. I usually would wait. Well, now I will wait. Yes, Yeez is back. Yee. What type of songs? That is so creepy. What is he going to do? Continue killing. That's betrayal. What did he do? Why did he... Yeah. Moon! But no! That was fun. Okay. Now let's go to the behind the scenes. Okay, now is behind the scenes on it.
Hello there, Samuel Kyber here with a behind the scenes to Survival.
Sam. Too much tea.
After finishing the Worlds Apart series, I wanted to do something on a smaller scale to take a breather from the larger projects. Here we get to see how animation life transitions into the new Alex and Steve series. The story felt like it needed a beginning, so I figured why not do one about core survival. The animation was designed around the premise of creating a cool fight scene without using any weapons, but we needed some build-up before that happened. I tried to keep the set fairly simple by only using one map, but it ended up being a nightmare to make tiny adjustments to the terrain in Blender. I ended up remaking the entire cliffside as the original was far too big. The map was actually fairly small, but to make it much larger I duplicated the entire map and mirrored it behind the original. I then offset it slightly and it blended in rather well. I wanted the first scene to be a quick sequence of how much time they wasted gathering and crafting items that shouldn't help them on their first night. But
shouldn't.
A positive vibe to make it seem like they're doing really well. An old and used idea was to have one gather a bunch of wood or something and then the other would use the wood for their own task and vice versa, causing a bit of conflict early on that they would resolve later. But it ended up feeling a bit drawn out and hard to convey that specific emotion, so I wanted something a bit different. The wolf actually ended up chasing the skeleton because honestly I didn't know what to do with the wolf in this animation. The trickiest part of this scene was definitely creating the different times of day. As each shot went on, the time changed, so I modified the sun strength, sun color, mist color, ambient
That is confusing looking.
occlusion, all the fun stuff.
Just one.
The trickiest lighting for me is honestly the sunny midday kind of neutral look. It feels fairly limited to blue mist and a high sun, so it lacks those nice shadows and pretty sunset colours. To be honest, I love doing lighting anyway, so it was a lot of fun creating the visuals. Oh my. Scene 2 was a good opportunity to feature a bunch of our patrons. I wanted to show a variety of different ways people try to survive their first night, like hiding in a dirt house, or building a nerd pole to avoid the mobs. Also to show some things not to do, like building a house without a roof, or digging straight down. I thought the scene transitioned really nicely from one moment to another, having the explosion from the TNT happening in the same shot as the cobblestone was being placed, then having his body fall into the shot of the dirt house, then that explosion leads to Alex and Steve running away. I made the redstone trap in Minecraft to make sure it worked before animating it. Sadly, it isn't entirely functional as the redstone isn't placed when it falls out of a dispenser, but the idea was cool nonetheless. Tripwire, I actually took the fishing rod rig that we have. I deleted the fishing rod part of it and the hook at the end and was just left with the wire. I have these two controllers on either end and one in the middle, and I duplicated that and mirrored it across to the other side, and then just used that to simulate a tripwire. Throughout this scene you see a bunch of mobs in almost every shot, just in the background walking around. To import that many rigs would have just killed the scene, so instead what I did was I parented a bunch of mob rigs to an empty, and then moved that empty around, so you see the crowd moving a little bit, and then later on it moves to a completely different area of the map, and then it moves. So it's the same set of mobs every time. A lot of the lighting was done using spotlights.
You know what? I'm going to reveal something. On my first animation, the New World, I had the fight scene, which has no fighting really. It's only one zombie. Just as soon as it goes off camera, I moved the zombie. But yeah.
The dense forest made it tricky to let light in through all the leaves. Everything was still looking too blue, so I keyframed torches to move around the map to create this orange glow which contrasted with the blue very nicely. It then transitions back to Alex and Steve where they face off against the mobs on the cliff. The concept of doing a fight scene was so interesting to me. It mixed comedy with action, and that seemed like a hard combo to get right. I knew Zillion could handle it with ease, so he animated the fight scene for me. We sent a bunch of ideas back and forth, what Minecraft items we could use that would be both funny and exciting. Some of the cut ideas included making a trench with a shovel, using a sign to write "go away" on, or attaching the fish to the fishing rod and using that to slap the creeper. Why did I just gesture as if I was slapping with the fish?
He did.
The fishing rod was originally going to be attached to Alex's waist, kind of Attack on Titan style, where she'd be grappling from tree to tree, using a different weapon.
I really like the idea of grapples.
But the tree line was pretty far away from the mobs. The scene didn't really allow for that kind of motion, so we ended up going with Zillion's idea. I wanted this whole scene to show them working together, alternating between attacking and crafting, which was a nice contrast to the opening when they were working independently. This worked especially well in the fireworks sequence, where the camera doesn't change and shows them excelling at teamwork. The bamboo sequence was the part I wanted the most for sure. My favourite fighting style Zillion had done for Songs of War was the Tide Singer's polearm, so I tried to find the closest item to a polearm in Minecraft.
Bamboo!
The tiny piston punching thingy was inspired by the Hulkbuster scene in Avengers Age of Ultron, which a lot of people have already mentioned in the comments. It's hard to see, but it did have a lever on the side to activate the piston, but to be honest I don't think it ever really gets shown in the animation since the camera's on the opposite side. The items themselves were either things they found in the beginning, like the bamboo or the minecart, mixed with items they crafted from resources they gathered, like the piston from the redstone or the stick from... Sound design for the fishing rod and bamboo was super fun to do.
Bats?
I used actual grappling gun sounds for the fishing rod.
That's a lot less dramatic with the...
And a mixture of tunifers and whips for the bamboo.
Yeah, it's super boring without music.
The lighting in this was a bit tricky, as the sun needed to rise at the end of the scene. I had the sun slowly rotate throughout the scene, showing the change in time of day. I then swapped the sun with a new orange sun when it rises in the morning. To make sure everything still had enough light from all angles as the sun was changing direction, I used the same technique from Worlds Apart, where I placed several spotlights pointing in multiple directions. And the fire... I just hit my mic. Why did I do that? And the mic. God, now I'm thinking about microphones. And the explosions were made using particle systems consisting of a simple collection of white and grey objects. I wanted the ending to feel like classic Minecraft, where the sun rises and burns the mobs. An old idea was to transition into a building sequence with surviving patrons to make the new house they have in Ocean Monument and beyond. It could have worked, but I think it concluded nicely soon after the night was over and the conflict had ended. It stayed rather true to the survival aspect of the animation. In terms of music, I used some classic songs from previous animations to help it feel familiar to animation life. The music played a big role in setting the pacing of the second scene especially. At key points, the music would stop and exaggerate the moment on screen. As always, I use a lot of stems for the music to help extend certain sections, like the beginning of the final fight. There were a couple of references here and there. Echo was chilling with a diamond pickaxe. Alex was wielding her bamboo like Darth Maul from the Clone Wars. And the term Sweet New Base was a callback to an old Halo Reach vidoc.
And then you can say, sweet new map.
The thumbnail was actually created using an unused Songs of War design. I ended up modifying it a bunch, replacing rigs here and there, changing the lighting setup, mostly adding a bit more colour and more vibrant. It'll make Alex's feed easier to see. I know the animation was a bit shorter than what we're used to making, but I wanted to keep this one fairly straightforward and take a bit of a breather from the long-form stories. I'm super happy with the result though. Zillion especially did a fantastic job with the
eggs.
For those waiting for bloopers, they'll be out on September 19th, and for me, I'm excited to work on my next project. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, no. Okay. I like learning about what this is. But, yeah. I'm sorry I forgot to upload on Friday. I don't know what I was doing on Friday. But very soon I am going to make a video on 2B2T. Try to. And yeah, I've been excited. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye!